and welcome to this evening taste challenge. I have two single malt whiskeys. Get this thing to focus. I have Trader Joe's Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 10 years, matured in oak casks. Makes sense because Scotch whiskey by law has to be aged and matured in oak casks. This is from Alexander, was procured by Alexander Murray and Company for Trader Joe's. It's not made by Alexander Murray and Company because they don't make whiskey, they just procure it. They're a broker. All right, so it's the same label as any Alexander Murray and Company whiskey basically, but it changes to this Trader Joe's emblem and it says Trader Joe's instead of Alexander Murray and Company. But if you look on their website, you'll see the same exact label design. But this has no website listing. They don't even list it on the Trader Joe's website. Oh, but it exists because I've got it. And I paid $23.99 for this bottle 2 years ago. Clancy Woodard says, "Hey, what's up, Jay? Oh, just doing a whiskey taste challenge." Burley Sullivan says, "You." Hey, cheers back to you. Now, the competitor is Glencullen. Speyside single malt, aged 10 years. Distilled, matured, and bottled in Scotland. Bottled in Scotland? Okay. Let me fix that. I'll just erase that part. Sorry about that. Both are 10-year age, 40% alcohol, 10-year age, 10-year aged single malt Scotch whiskeys. Got it. The Glencullen was $10.99. And they have a photo photograph of the Glencullen in Scotland, merry old Scotland. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. All right, because everybody knows it's merry old England. Of course, Scotland and England are united in the United Kingdom. Wales, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, but they're not the same country. It'd be like saying, well, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, it's all the same thing. No, it's not. Okay, let me turn on the lamp as soon as I pour it because it's not going to focus right when it's dark. They both have foil cap covers. Get my labels correct. Don't want to go through what I had last week where I screwed that all up, had to reshoot the video. When it comes to Scotch, I either drink J&B or Johnny Walker Red Label. Two good choices. I prefer J&B, but I like Johnny Walker. I like Cutty Sark. I still got a bottle of the Cutty Sark the Cutty Sark Prohibition Edition, which is a 50% alcohol, 100 proof. That's a great one. I got a deal on that. It was like $27 for a liter. True story. Amazing story, but true. Damn. Yeah. I better pour a little more because this could be a tough one. Yeah. All right, this could be a tough one. All right, they both have real corks. As you can see, not rubber stoppers or anything like that. Price point $23.99 for the Trader Joe's, $20.99 for the Glencullen at time of purchase. Now, my trademark, now it says County Line Distillers, which is a shell company of Sazerac. Buffalo Trace, heard of them? Oh yeah, they're both amber, so the appearance won't matter. Um, Buffalo Trace, Sazerac, they like to use aliases for their products, like County Line Distillers, the Founders Company. Um, what's another common one they'll use? 75 South. I would say Barton, but Barton is an actual distillery. Um, yeah, those are the two real common ones that they use. Here's the website for the Glencullen 10-year, but it's not the website, it's Albertson. Albertsons, Jewel Osco, Shaw's. I think out there in California they have what? Not Shaw, but they might. But they have, what's the big one they have out there in California? Vons, Vons, Vons. It's all this company because Albertsons bought them all out. Here's the closest Albertsons tea. They've got it right there, and it says member price, but you don't have to really be able to do that. It's the price, okay? It's $22.99, but the regular price is $27.99 through January 5th. When I bought it, it was $20.99, but like that was like 2-3 years ago. Here's fresh, clean, and aromatic on the nose with heather, honey, and vanilla top note. Medium body with a malt and cereal sweetness. That makes sense. Malt, barley malt, and cereal. Well, malt is a cereal. Barley is. Citrus, zesty hints, and long barley laid finish. Glencullen 10-year is a world-class Speyside. I do not agree with that at all. I would say it's tolerable, but they're not going to put that on the website. Crafted with the finest single malt. Oh, the finest. That's why it's $23. Great. Matured in select oak cask. 40% alcohol. Distilled in Scotland. Something's a little wrong about that. Oh, there's Highland, a famous blended Scotch, cheapo, if you want to call it. But they use all four single malts in it: Speyside, Highland, Isla, and that. Okay. Any more information about the producer? County Line Distillers. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Because County Line Distillers ain't a real company. Highland Mist, there's a blended. Look at that price, $19.99 for a handle. Look, big old bottle, $19.99. Huge plastic bottle. They do sell glass though. I had a glass bottle. Pale and dry. It's pale and it is dry. I'll give them credit on that. That's been around since 1956. You probably come out ahead buying that one, honestly, and tell you the truth. That is from also from the Sazerac company, but they use it as their, because Barton started it, about to be incorporated. Well, there you go. But you see, I think the Glencullen, but I can't prove it, you see. To me, and I've been in this too many times, I think this Glencullen is a private label for Albertsons, Shaw's, Vons, Jewel Osco, Amigos, US supermarkets, whatever, all their stores, because I never see it anywhere but there. Okay, not a private label because the trademark is owned by the Sazerac company. But let's say a private agreement, which is basically the same thing. In other words, this is a product that they make, right? But they got an agreement that they're only going to sell it at their place. They made a deal, and we'll only sell it to your stores, as long as you keep buying it. And they say, okay, as long as he keeps selling, that makes sense. And see the Albertsons companies. If you look on any of these websites, they're going to show the Glencullen. I'm telling you right now. I'm not kidding. Okay, I'll accept your, so you can spy on me. Look at all the companies: Acme Grocery, Amigos, Andronicos. I think that's up in New York somewhere. Andronicos or something like that. Balducci's, Cars, Haddon, Jewel Osco, Kings, Supermarket, Market Street, Pavilions, Randall's, Safeway, Shaw's, Star, Tom Thumb, United Express, United Supermarkets, and Bonds. I'm telling you, you go to any of these websites, they're going to show that. But go to Winn-Dixie, Walmart, Total Wine, you ain't going to see it. You ain't going to see it. I'm sorry, bad language, bad English. You're not going to see it. I mean, those are a lot of grocery chains around the United States. It's not like it's going to be hard to find this, because it ain't. It isn't. KS says, hi, Ron, have you tried the Glen Moray single malt Speyside port cask finish? No, I've actually never seen it in real life, but I've seen it on the internet. I've only had the Elgin Classic, which I like. So let's just say, theoretically, because I cannot prove it, but I can kind of prove it by just showing you those facts. But let's say Glencullen is only sold at those Albertsons chains. They're all over the United States. It's assuming they sell liquor at those places now. You might live in a state where they can't sell liquor except for a liquor store. Now, they get around that in Florida. If you go to Florida, they get around that because they got Winn-Dixie. Oh, you can't sell liquor at a Winn-Dixie grocery store. It's illegal in Florida to sell liquor at a grocery store. Fine. Winn-Dixie just puts a separate building right next to the grocery store, and it's called WD Liquors. Same thing. If you go to Walmart in Florida, they got Walmart, and then there's Walmart Liquor. It's right next door. But that's not the law in Louisiana. They sell the liquor in the grocery store. Oh, it's the same thing in Texas, too. That's right. You can only buy liquor at a liquor store. So if you go to Fiesta, like go to Houston, Texas, and they got Fiesta supermarkets, it's even connected. It's not detached. You just got to walk out the front and go into the Fiesta liquor store. It's just like any other liquor store. It's a joke. I mean, the whole law is a joke. It's a sham. But I don't live in Texas. I don't care what they do. You know what they do in Texas? They tax rings on women's fingers. They tax billy goats. They tax corn in the crib. All right. But I go to Texas, pretty often. They have great speed limits, 75 on the interstate. 75, as soon as you cross into Texas, speed limit, 75. But they have that in Louisiana too. If you go in North Louisiana, where it's wide open, country, 75 miles per hour. But in Texas, as soon as you cross the state line, 75. And you cross the Pecos River, as soon as you cross the Pecos River, it's 80. Speed limit's 80. And that's on Highway 90, United States Highway 90. That's a 2-lane highway. There's one lane going east and one lane going west, and it's 90. 80, I'm sorry. Highway 90, but the speed limit's 80. You can make good time, but I see people are so careless with their safety, because I was driving through Texas a while back, west of the Pecos River, out in the desert, and I was going 85. I cheated. I went 5 miles over 84, right, on 90. And when you're on a 2-lane highway, one going west, one going east, man, when you pass somebody, it's kind of scary. But I was driving, and I hear Kawasaki motorcycle or whatever passing me up, and I was going 84, and they were passing me up like I was going slow. Now I said, man, you really are taking some chances on this motorbike because there's no second chance if they have a wreck. That's it. It's over. But that's the truth. I'm not making these up. And their liquor stores are nice, but I just don't like their ridiculous regulations. Hello, Urjo. What part of Texas do you go to? Says Michael Ojeda. Well, I've been all over. You see, all over. North, south, east, west, central. But I usually go to the east because it's the closest parts of Louisiana. Orange, Texas is exactly 206 miles from where I'm sitting right here. Orange, Texas, closest spot. 206 miles. And I can go to Red Dot Liquors right there and buy all kind of stuff I never seen in Louisiana just by crossing a state line. Of course, conversely, they can come across here and buy stuff they never seen in Texas. Works both ways. So if you live on the Texas-Louisiana state line area, you can buy all kind of crazy stuff. This one tastes like honey. I didn't talk about the aroma because there's not much difference. It's just like, yeah, honey and grain, meaning barley. Honey and kind of a neutral grain there, but it's not neutral grain spirit. I'm drinking New Mexican whiskey right now. It's called Ponderosa whiskey. Oh, I didn't realize New Mexico had distilleries. Well, see, learn something every day. Gonna miss me when I'm gone. All right. Listen to the rain. It's going to be a rainy night. Rainy night in Georgia. All right. Honey, oak, honey, oak. Kind of stuck on that. Honey, oak, honey, oak. What else? You tell me. I'm not tasting anything else. Maybe bread, like bread crust. Yeah, white bread crust. No, I mean. All right, over here. Smoother. Less bite. Has a little bite, not too much. Bite, much less bite. Much smoother. They're both 10 years, so it can't be the aging. I just think the Glencullen is a little less nicer. You said, well, it's Speyside. That's Highland. That's Speyside. Highland, Speyside. Are they really that different? Because I've tasted Highland, I've tasted Speyside. I'm not seeing much difference between those two. You say, oh, it's a world of difference. It is a world of difference. Well, it might be, but I'm not tasting it. They both taste like the same to me. They just taste the same. Bread crust, white bread dough, white bread dough. No smoke, no smoke, no peat, no peat. Honey, honey. Uh-oh, here are sirens again. I hope they didn't have wrecks with this rain. Now you can't say, oh, it's just the brands. It's those brands you're doing. It's a lot different, really. I've done so many Speysides, Highland, Speyside, Highland, Speyside, Highland, and it's like the same and the same. And then people will tell me, oh, German Pilsner and Czech Pilsner is so different. German Pilsner and Czech Pilsner is so different. And I'm tasting them and I'm like, well, okay, but where's the difference? Because they're tasting the same to me. And then it'd be like some so subtly different. The differences would be so subtle. It's like, no, it's not that different. And if you can substantiate that, why don't you do some blind taste test with German and Czech Pilsners, German versus Czech, and you tell me blind taste test, not you looking at the bottles like people do. Or I'm looking at this bottle and I'm looking at that bottle. This is so different than that. Well, yeah, you're looking at the bottles. Do it blind. if you don't think you can do it on your own, which you can do it on your own, but let's say you don't have confidence, you're going to mess it up. Get your friend or your wife or your girlfriend or your daddy or your mama to mix the bottles up for you, the glasses, and they could put a number. 1 is this and 2 is that. And you don't know, they could bring them to you. Obviously, common sense, you would have controls like the same amount of beer in each glass. Pour them at the same time, so the same amount of head of foam, same temperature out of the fridge at the same time. You want to have some controls over your blind taste test, and then you tell me how different they are. Are you seeing anybody doing live blind taste tests with German versus Czech Pilsner? I'm not. I never see that. I hear people talking about it all the time. Oh, they're so different, but I never see anything to back it up. Seems to me if they were that different, you'd be able to, in a snap, tell them apart, just like that. Oh yeah, that's clearly a German Pilsner, or that's clearly Czech. Do it. Do the video. Now, am I seeing any clear difference between Highland and Speyside? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you I'm not. I'm just being honest, I think a lot of those $20 whiskeys are made with wood chips instead of barrels. Not legally, because in Scotland, that would never be allowed. The Scotch whiskey has to be aged in oak barrels for 3 years, minimum. Now, these are 10. So no way they're going to allow them to just have some whiskey in a stainless steel container and throw wood chips in it. No way. Ain't happening. Can't happen in the United States. Can't happen in Canada. Can't happen in Ireland. So where is it happening? Oh, India. Could be India. Now I see India. I don't know India's regulations. Do they make a lot of whiskey in India? You better believe they do. I've never had any of it, but India is a big drinking state, country. I mean, it's a bunch of states. There are many states in India. They love brandy and they love whiskey, but I don't know their regulations. It might be a lot more open to different things like what you're talking about. But in the United States and Scotland, oh no. Can't happen. Okay. I'm getting a little vanilla, honestly. I was saying honey. It's there, but vanilla. I see that. Bread. Oh, yeah. Barley bread crust. Oh, yeah. It's all the way there. Medium body, mostly dry finish. Yeah. I think the only difference with these is like this one's a little smoother. But as far as flavor, I cannot detail that. I don't see where it's different. Which ones? I mean, right now, I'm talking about the right now price, $23.99, $22.99. Now, I told you I paid $20.99. I paid less. $23.99, $22, $1 difference in price. It's $1 different, assuming Trader Joe's is still holding that price, which I don't know if they are. Am I tasting $1 difference in quality right now? No. Can you buy a decent single malt Scotch whiskey for less than $25? Yeah, as evidenced by these two. Now, are they incredible? You bought a whiskey from Oregon and they said they use wood chips. Well, wait a minute. They could put wood chips in the barrel. That's not an issue. You want to put wood chips in, but it has to be aged in a new charred oak barrel. If it's bourbon, now if it's just whiskey, yeah, you could put it in used barrels. That's not a problem. Macro, middle crow, micro, it wouldn't matter. If you had a huge distillery like Diageo, like say Bullet Distillery or Dickel in Tennessee, or if it was middle size like Barton, they're not really huge over there in Kentucky, or if it was a micro distillery like that 72 or whatever it's called in New Orleans, it's very tiny distillery. It doesn't matter. All the whiskey has to be aged in barrels, oak barrels. Doesn't have to be charred oak because it might be corn whiskey and they don't require char. But this thing about the wood chips, if they want to add wood chips, I've never read any regulations say they couldn't do it. But it has to be in a barrel. Yeah, there's no wiggle room on that. I'm sorry, there's no wiggle room. No way. There just isn't. You say, what if they wanted to make a whiskey style liquor? Okay, now, if it's a whiskey style distilled spirit specialty, that's different. I'm talking about actual whiskey. Now, when you making a specialty liquor, there's not too many rules on that. Not too many rules on that. All right. Anyway, so do we know whose barrels these two products are using? No, we don't even know who makes the products. It's not a matter of not knowing whose barrels. We don't know who produces the. I don't know who produces Glencullen. Sazerac's never going to tell you. Is it some little tiny micro distillery in Scotland, or is it some major distillery that's pumping out stuff all day long? You know the answer as well as I do. It's a major distillery. It's probably well known, but you'll never find out because they don't want you to know that. Same thing here. If you found out who it was, you'd be like, oh, I went on a tour there. I heard of that place. I didn't know they made that. Well, they don't want you to know they make that. It's like American companies. They put all Anheuser-Busch makes Southern Comfort flavored malt beverage. Yeah, I said it right. Anheuser-Busch makes Southern Comfort flavored malt beverages. There's the old fashioned. There's the what they call that other one? The I don't know, whatever cocktails they have on the market. And they said there's 3 different flavors in 12 pack. Southern Comfort. Was it good? I mean, I guess it was good if you like drinking sugar. A lot of people love that kind of stuff. But they don't tout it. Get on Anheuser-Busch website. They don't tout that they make Southern Comfort malt beverage, flavored malt beverage beers. They do that for Sazerac. It's like, okay, we'll make it for you. But they just put it real tiny on the side of the can, made by Anheuser. All right. But they at least telling you. But yeah, here we don't know who makes these single malts, and we're not going to find out. And I'm not worried about it, but I mean, you're just not going to find out. We know it's not Caol Ila. It's not what's the name of that thing? Ardbeg, because those are Islay, and these are not Islay Scotch. So we know we can use process of elimination. You know, this is coming from somewhere in the Highlands. This is coming from somewhere in Speyside. So you just pinpoint who are the major macro major Speyside distillers. Who's the major ones in Highland? You can narrow it down. Wouldn't really matter. Well, honestly, they're both fine. Which one would I buy? I guess I'd buy the one that was cheaper, which I guess would be Glencullen, but you only saving $1. But It's just the way it's coming out. All right, so I'm going to say this is the Trader Joe's. Hope I'm right. Oh, why? I was wrong. I'm so ashamed. No, I'm not ashamed, but I mean, I'm wrong. All right. Oh, dang. I really wanted to get it right. I'm going to tell you, well, who wouldn't want to get it right? But heck. Now, you might be laughing and saying, no one cares if you could tell Trader Joe's from Glencullen because A, no one ever heard of either one, and B, no one cares about them. Well, I guess that's true, but I go to Trader Joe's sometimes. It look like they got all kind of people in there driving Subarus with tattoos and ear holes, and they're very hip and they vote according to the left-hand course, but I mean, they're all, very into it, man. And they just love Trader Joe's and they just so enthused and they buy all the Trader Joe's products. So somebody's buying it. And if you go to Albertsons or Vons or Jewel Osco or Shaw's, they're buying Glencullen. I don't know why. I guess they like it. Trader Joe's wins. Well, actually, Trader Joe's loses because it's $1 more as of today's prices. It costs $1 more, and I couldn't tell them apart. Secondly, I couldn't tell them apart. So when you say, well, that's you. You don't know whiskey. All right. So, oh, man. Oh, yeah, Glencullen wins. Sazerac wins. Those snickerdoodles. I live close to the Sazerac headquarters, honestly. I hope William Goldring is watching this video. William, if you're watching the video, Mr. William, call me. We can work something out. He owns Sazerac, him and his wife. I know you're like 90 years old, but I'm not an age discriminator. You want to get something going? That can be done. Actually, I've never been contacted about Sazerac. All right, anyway, so that's the way it goes, I guess. I got it wrong. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe I'll do the Trader Joe's versus Glen Glassaw or Berry Brothers and Rudd. That 15-year aged, 15 years. I didn't think it was that great, but it's still aged 15 years, and we'll see what happens. Heck. All right. Thank you.